Hello, welcome to our home. Here we go on our grand tour.
Okay guys, so this is our living room. First walk in, we have a big open floor plan. But we have these two couches here. But the kitchen is huge. I love it. So much cabinet space. It is amazing to have a dishwasher. Really nice vanity. This is the one we're using because our master bath is not finished yet. But this works really nicely for us, even though it's kind of down the hall.
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Thursday, September 29th. I hope you're having a wonderful day. It's time to talk about the Duggars. I actually had the funniest thing happen the other day. Well, maybe not. I got a message from someone in my inbox and they said, I am so sad that we're not talking about the Duggars every day. And I'm like, well, I guess, it's true. There's been a few days here that it's been heavy on the sister wives, and that's because we're in the middle of a huge season where Christine's leaving the family, and so I have been inundated with sister wives content. It's not to ignore the Duggars. It's more like I only have so many hours in the day and I have to prioritize, and every day there's something new coming out with sister wives. And there also seems to be a lot going on in general in Utah with all these different polygamy groups. And so I've been inundated with messages from people from the FLDS and the Kingstons, and it's just been overwhelming. So I promise I'm not ignoring the Duggars, but let's talk about something that is going on with Joanna, because why not, right? Yay. Okay, so welcome back. It's Thursday, September 29th. It's nice and warm here. It's unusually warm. I'm ready for the fall chilly time. I got a couple days of that earlier this week, but I'm back with it's hot out. I was perusing over on the property of Washington County. So if you don't know how I do my job, I check every day the courts, and I also check property records just to see what's happening and to see if there's anything going on. And there's been a couple things that I've noticed that have been going on, but one involves Joanna and another involves Jason. So if you're not familiar with Jason or with Joanna and Austin, well, their living situation, let's start there. Let's get into, they've just bought some property. Are they going to be building a farm? All right, so before we get into it, can you do me a huge favor and give me a thumbs up? Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you have not yet subscribed, and turn those notifications on so you know when I go live and new content loads. And as always, leave some comments on your favorite parts of these videos, or if you have something to say. And if there's a topic you'd like me to cover, make sure to leave me some comments. I get sort of stuck in my little wormholes of, we're going to talk about the Duggars and we're going to talk about sister wives, because most days I don't have the capacity to think about either. So earlier today, I noticed that Joanna's been back to social media, has been posting a lot more frequently, and she's getting back into her Instagram posts. Both her and Jessa have, as well as Ginger. Ginger's now into cooking. She just uploaded a video on her YouTube channel making some sort of souffle with ice cream. And, there's always something that the critics have to say. This video, they apparently didn't like that Ginger kept touching her hair. Who knew? But Joy and Austin, they just made a pretty big purchase, and I was probably maybe a little bit shocked, but maybe I shouldn't be. I don't know what's going on with this, but the property is not purchased in Austin's business name. It's actually in their name, which makes me think that maybe they're planning a move and maybe are planning to build a house. So what is going on? Well, let's start at the beginning. When Austin and Joy got married, they were gifted a house that was previously owned by Jim Bob Duggar. The house is kind of in a ruralish area, and previously had been the next door neighbor to Amy Duggar and her husband, Dylan. Now, Amy and Dylan moved. They sold the property and they're currently renting, but Joy and Austin had stayed in this property, which had formerly been owned by Grandma Mary. Both properties had actually been Grandma Mary properties. So Joy and Austin had inherited this property, if you remember, and they had to basically completely remodel it. Austin's a builder, so he tore it apart, he built it, he refurbished it. I mean, it has a beautiful kitchen, but it's not a huge piece of property by any means. And they don't have a ton of land. And knowing that Joy and Austin are a little bit more, I don't know, adventurous, and that Austin is a builder, I am not surprised by what I just found. But their house is, if they're going to expand their family, going to be outgrowing it soon. It has, I think, 3 bedrooms, and it doesn't have a ton of living space. It's a great starter home, but if they're looking to upgrade, they just picked up a piece of property that might work. So according to records in Washington County, they actually just recently purchased 11 acres. That's right, outside of Fayetteville in Elkins. So Elkins is actually famously the area, if you remember, where Josh Duggar's guardians lived. When Josh Duggar was out on house arrest, he was staying with the Reavers out in Elkins. So they've purchased 11 acres. It's 11.49 acres. It actually includes 2 pastures. So one pasture has 7.58 acres and the other one has 3.9 acres. Currently, it is zoned for agricultural purposes. So it's not specifically zoned for residential. So the property is located in an area that's actually sort of near a housing development. And it looks to be like on some sort of county road. There are other farms that are around it, and it doesn't have any structures on it at all. So it has a pole shed. So just a shed that's on the property. So this could easily turn into a new homestead area for them. 11 acres. 11.49 acres. Now, the reason why I think this is interesting is because if Austin were going to purchase this for his business and this was going to be something that he subdivided, he would have purchased it under his business, which he's got 2 construction companies that he works with. And most of Austin's construction is not in Washington County. In fact, he, along with his friends, the Jason Duggar and Dwayne Swanson and that whole little crew, that Josiah Duggar, they all build in Bella Vista out in Benton County, and they don't do a lot of construction in Washington County. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's like cheaper property I don't know if there's cheaper property in Benton County. Bella Vista is still kind of in a ruralish area, but this is in Washington County, which is the same county that they currently live in. So they currently live in Fayetteville, and this is out in Elkins, and it's again 11 acres. So this makes me wonder if there are plans for them to maybe buy this property, use it, farm it, maybe have a small homestead, and build a new house. It's in kind of a residential-ish area. Like I said, it's like right behind, it's like there's a housing development on the back end of it. 11 acres could also be split off into different lots if they wanted, but 11 acres, you guys, 11 acres. So while they're making changes, their current house is not on the market, by the way, and they still own that property. But this property, they plunked down $159,000. And according to records that are listed they didn't take out a mortgage. So it says that the sale price was $159,500. And there's no mortgage on it. That means they plunked down cash. That means they plunked down cash, $159,000, just sitting in their bank, paying cash for this piece of property. Would you have ever thought that Joy and Austin had that kind of cash to just throw into a piece of property? I had no idea. Okay, so they're buying a piece of property. Their current house is still not on the market. They still own it. I don't know if they're building here. There's no current construction going on there, but Austin being a builder, I wouldn't be surprised if something gets built by him on that property. So keep this in the back of your head that maybe Joy and Austin are going to be going out on their own, getting rid of the Duggar purchased property and disconnecting even further from the Duggars, getting out of the property that was gifted to them by her parents. They don't have any mortgages on any of their properties, so all of this is owned free and clear. Austin and Joy are very good savers, apparently. Who knew? So another thing that I've been noting, and this is just sort of at the tail end of this video for no apparent reason other than my own being nosy, is that Jason Duggar has been making some moves recently, and he's started another business. So Jason has 3 businesses now, and he recently transferred some property into a business called Warehouse Rental Group, and then he sold a piece of property. So there had been this piece of property that his dad had given him for he acquired it in 2016 or 2017. He's just been sitting on this property for a long time, and it was listed as Duggar Edition. I don't know if this was actually his property or if it was his dad's, because Jim Bob is known to push his properties out to the kids. I think it's to reduce tax liability, and they spread out the properties within them so that, everyone's tax liability is not as high. Most of Jim Bob's properties that he owns personally are in a trust, and then some of it he has in these other weird LLCs. And this new one was this was a property that was given to Jason years ago. Now he has sold it. It was called Duggar Edition. That's the name of it. So Jason's unloading property. Interesting, right? He has started 2 new businesses in the last few months. And I'm still trying to figure out what the need is for all of these different businesses. He's also still building under Buildmaster Construction. And interestingly, I reached out to them on Facebook and asked them what they do. And he said that they mostly do remodels, but he also has a couple spec homes that he builds. When I clarified and asked what a spec home was, even though I knew, he blocked me. I think he at that point might have figured out who I was. Either way, Buildmaster Construction, Jason is starting 2 new businesses. I don't know if this is again in response to Josh's issues or not, but Jason, new properties, selling off some of the Duggar properties, which makes me again wonder what's going on here. And then Joy and Austin, are they developing a homestead, and will they be moving off Duggar property for good? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye guys.